Hi, I'm Kevin Klein. Let's talk today about what happened at City Hall that the media didn't tell you about. Here's what the media missed. For whatever reason, they could have been too busy, they don't have time to cover these things, or they just weren't flashy enough. They didn't grab headlines. But I think there are items that have happened here that speak to the fundamental problems we have at City Hall. And that's why I want to share them with you, because I think it's important that you know. No matter what area of the city you live in, you need to know how councillors are voting. You need to know what items are being put through, how we're spending your money. So let's start with what happened at City Council just the other day. An item came up. It was a motion to renew the contract of an assistant type person for what's called the Safety Committee. It's a small committee that meets monthly, maybe sometimes twice monthly, and they talk about different programs they can put online or pamphlets and such to help remind people or provide people concepts or ideas on how to keep safe. Now, this is, I got the feeling that it wasn't full-time, and I know that we have a food security committee, much exactly the same as this safety committee, and that person, it's more part-time, right? It's one of those contract positions. You do the work that needs to be done, and you're paid for that, a flat fee. Now, this isn't about the person. I want to be very clear. This is about what council did. And why this is a fundamental issue and why it's a problem today. At council, they voted to approve a 10% raise for this position. A 10% raise. I stood and I said, we have a crisis financially in our city. The Manitoba Restaurant Association is claiming 10,000 restaurants have already closed. All you have to do is drive downtown and look at all the boards and all the windows. It's not getting better right now. These are tough times. And we have to be smarter with your money. We have to tighten our belt. Just because we're elected officials doesn't mean we have an unlimited credit card. Now, some of my colleagues on EPC stood and talked about the fact that, well, these positions don't normally get raises and, we have to make up for lost time. Fair enough, except moments before I had provided them the facts and the evidence, which was right in front of their eyes on the motion itself, that indicated they received a 5% increase. This position received a 5% increase in 2020. That's 15% in 2 years. It's almost $50,000 now. You can read all about it by going to the City of Winnipeg website and looking at the City Council agenda. You'll find it on there, the renewal of the contract. Read it for yourself and make your own decision. Many of my colleagues supported that raise. We have to be smarter about this. We have to reallocate our resources. People deserve to be given a raise. I agree with that. But we have to be reasonable. It's not our money, it's yours. Another one I want to talk about very quickly was the City of Winnipeg sold the old St. Boniface City Hall for $10,000. This was late last week. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. The city valued that property at $2.1 million. So there was some negotiating and we decided to sell it for $10,000. This is ridiculous. This has to stop. I mean, what person in sound mind would think this is a good deal? This is one of the fundamental issues we have. There's no transparency in that deal. It was done behind closed doors. They won't even give us the detail or allow us to send it back to find another bid, because that would slow down the process, and we don't want to do that, councillor. We don't want to change it now. We put out an RFP. Well, it's a proposal. We don't have to accept it. We did get other proposals. Can't talk about those, councillor. That's against the rules. Look, the reality is you paid to give them that building. No, I'm not kidding. We agreed in this sale to do a lot of the background and the surveying and such and all the paperwork that's required to the tune of $170,000. That's after they give us the $10,000. Total cost is $180,000. But they're giving us 10 minus that. Not a bad deal. We're only paying $170,000 to wash our hands of a landmark in what was known as the city of St. Boniface. I don't know. You tell me. Do you approve that? A house. We voted on a house. You see, developers or builders, even infill homes, when they come in and they're getting their plan approved to build, they have to bring in the drawing of the house. And this is what it's going to look like. These are the measurements. This is where the windows are going to go. Because that's part of the public process, right? People need to see that so the neighborhood can talk about it and share their views. And maybe, sometimes things get adjusted. But the plan was brought in and it was approved. And now it's back at council. It's already passed because the people who built the home didn't follow the plan. The bylaw states if you don't build the property to plan, you will be required to make the structural changes and put it back to the way that was approved, because you have to follow approved plans. But do you? What's a few changes among friends? And it was supposed to be a flat roof, I think, and they put in a taller vaulted ceiling type roof. They put a balcony in a different spot. There's a basement suite now. If we're not going to stand up and enforce the rules, people are going to continuously not trust elected officials and not trust the city of Winnipeg. We spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on studies and consultants and reports to come up with these bylaws just to not enforce them. And finally, the mayor's expense account. First and foremost, I want to make it clear, this is not about the mayor. This is not on the mayor at all. This is on the 15 voting elected officials that made the decision. Let me give it to you quickly, but this one really heats up my water. City of Winnipeg Mayor has an expense account to the tune of $1.8 million. They list what they spend that money on, but not a detailed list. For example, $10,000 on marketing. Well, what marketing? For what? What did it say? Did it say, I'm a great person, or did it say come to Winnipeg? What did it say? Don't have to tell you that. That's not for you to know. You don't deserve to know that. I know it's your money, but don't ask, right? We were trying, not myself, it was moved by another councillor, a motion to put in to say, look, let's just have some accountability like every councillor does. So you have to provide the detail, exact detail of what you got, what you paid for, where it went. You have to have that. You have to show that. We do. So we were thinking the mayor's office should do that. Well, again, it's a $1.8 million expense account. Here's the part that really grabs me. That is the second highest expense account for a mayor in Canada. Not per capita. Not for cities that start with the letter W. Not for cities east of Brandon and west of Kenora. This is the entire country. We are a few $100,000 below the expense account for the mayor of Toronto. The mayor's expense account in the city of Winnipeg is higher than the mayor's expense account in Montreal. Why are we not changing that? We live in difficult economic times. Difficult. It's not a lot of money, it's the principle. It's about the principle. It's not our money to waste and spend frivolously. Now, I tell you, if it was me, I would lower that. And I would add all the accountability factors. But my colleagues, and you also hear me say a lot, EPC plus 3, EPC plus 3. The democracy at City Hall is gone. It's an exercise of denial and deceit. EPC makes all the decisions. So you can't blame the mayor on this one. I'll protect him on this one. It's not his fault. He fought for it. It's the fault of everybody else who voted for it. It's their fault. Accountability does not exist at City Hall. We have problems. Too many decisions are made behind closed doors. And I vow to stop that. And I vow to continue bringing you this stuff that the media won't talk about.